Welcome back. All right, so in the ongoing series I have on teams' playoff histories from 1999 2000 through until 2020 2021, today I want to talk about St. Louis as I continue to go in just random order. And St. Louis, I thought, yeah, they'd be interesting to talk about because they have won a championship, but it was quite the journey to get there. And now there's the question of, so are they a one and done? That's the question mark when it comes to the St. Louis Blues. So 1999 2000, starting with the first season on the board here, because that's how you do. You go that left to right. If I go in random seasons, it won't make any sense. But they finished with a record of 51, 19, 11, and 1. Great regular season, high expectations, and then playoff time, it didn't work out. They lost in the first round in 7 against San Jose. Upset victories, San Jose was pretty good at that around the turn of the century. So Dimitra was their leading scorer, 71 games, 28 goals, 47 assists, 75 points. He did not appear in the playoffs that year. So for St. Louis, again, you've got Pronger on the point. You've got McInnes as well. So 2 Hall of Famers there, but there were question marks. And we'll get into what one of the big question marks with St. Louis was along the way. 2000, 2001, 43, 22, 12, and 5 was the record. So the record gets worse in the regular season, but in the postseason they get better. They play San Jose again. This time they get their revenge. They win that series in 6. Round 2, Dallas, they swept them 4 straight. And then they run into Colorado. Colorado, a juggernaut that year. They lost in 5 against Colorado. No shame in that. Pierre Turgeon's their leading scorer. 79 games, 30 goals, 52 assists, 82 points. In the playoffs, in the 15 games that Turgeon plays, 5 goals, 10 assists for 15 points. So not too bad. 2001, 2002, they again, 43 wins to go with the record of 43, 27, 8, and 4. In round 1, they beat Chicago in 5. But then in round 2, they met up with the Detroit Red Wings. And as hard as they try, Detroit takes them out in 5. Dimitra, 82 games, 35 goals, 43 assists, 78 points. In the playoffs, 10 games played, 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points for Dimitra. So he's their leading scorer 2 of the first 3 years on the board, and then he's the leading scorer the following season as well. 2002, 2003, they finished with a record of 41, 24, 11, and 6. But what happens in the playoffs? They play Vancouver. They lose that in 7. They had a lead in that series, and that was where things just turned. It just turned on a dime, and Vancouver, once they got the momentum, St. Louis wasn't able to stop them. Dimitra, leading scorer again that year, 78 games, 36 goals, 57 assists, 93 points. In the playoffs, 7 games played, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points for Dimitra. So 2003, 2004, they end up with a record of 39, 30, 11, and 2. So their win total keeps going down. In the first round, San Jose takes them out. Second time out of 3 tries goes to San Jose. So they win the rubber match there. And it was a 5-game series in favor of San Jose. Keith Tkachuk's the leading scorer for St. Louis. 75 games, 33 goals, 38 assists, 71 points. In the playoffs, Tkachuk is held to 2 assists in 5 games by San Jose. So the lockout wipes out the 04-05 season. And 2005-2006, things just fall apart for St. Louis in the regular season. 21, 46, and 15. No playoffs with a record like that. Scott Young's their leading scorer, 79 games, 18 goals, 31 assists, 49 points. So what was a slow drop in their overall record coming out of the lockout? That was they were just done. 2006, 2007, their record gets better, 34, 35, and 13. They're still not in the playoffs. Doug Waite's their leading scorer, 82 games, 16 goals, 43 assists, 59 points. 2007, 2008, they finished with a record of 33, 36, and 13. Still no playoffs. Brad Boyes is their leading scorer, 82 games. I'll get there. 43 goals, 22 assists, 65 points for Boyes. Of course, without playoffs, we don't know what his playoff totals would have been, but the following season, he gets a chance to tell you. 41, 31, and 10 is the team's record, but they meet Vancouver in the playoffs, and they got swept by Vancouver. 4 straight. Boys, 82 games, 33 goals, 39 assists, 72 points. In the playoffs, in the 4-game series, Boys ends up with 2 goals and an assist. So not too bad considering the team got swept. The Boys had 3 points. 2009, 2010, they fall back out of the playoffs, but just barely. There's only 1 point difference from the year before where they made the playoffs. 40, 32, and 10 is their record. No playoffs. Andy McDonald's their leading scorer, 79 games, 24 goals, 33 assists, 57 points. 2010-2011, they missed the playoffs again. Good record, 38, 33, and 11. I mean, relatively for teams that missed the playoffs. But again, with the no playoffs, that means 5 years out of 6. And that was after a historically long run in the playoffs. So they don't make the playoffs. Backus is their leading scorer that year. 82 games, 31 goals, 31 assists, 62 points. And at that point, he's one of my favorite players in the league. I think he's just really, really good power forward for them. 2011-2012, their record just gets better. 49, 22, and 11 is their overall record. In the first round, they play San Jose, and they beat them in 5. But then they face LA, and LA is on a run. And we found that out in that second round. So the first round, LA had knocked out Vancouver, which people were like, wow, Vancouver choked. But then in the second round, we started to realize, LA is really good. So you can have both Vancouver choked and LA's pretty good. They swept St. Louis in that second round. Backus was their leading scorer again. 82 games, 24 goals, 30 assists for 54 points. In the playoffs, 9 games played, 2 goals, 2 assists for Backus. 2012-2013, they finished 29-17-2 over the lockout shortened season. They lost in the first round to LA in 6. So again, LA, I mean, they were pretty darn good at this stage, right? Chris Stewart, 48 games, 18 goals, 18 assists, 36 points. He's their leading scorer. In the playoffs, he was limited to 1 assist in 6 games for the St. Louis Blues. 2013-2014, they finished with a record of 52, 23, and 7. So great regular season. Fantastic. And then in the playoffs, they lost in 6 games against Chicago. So that storyline of St. Louis being a great regular season team is still the storyline at this point, right? Alexander Steen is their leading scorer, 68 games, 33 goals, 29 assists for 62 points. In the playoffs, he has a goal and 2 assists in 6 games. So, again, that first round knockout. So the following season, 2014-2015, they're 51, 24, and 7. Over 50 wins. But in the first round, they lose to Minnesota in 6. Vlad Tarasenko is their leading scorer, 77 games, 37 goals, 36 assists for 73 points. In the playoffs, he plays the 6 games, has 6 goals, 1 assist, 7 points. So he produced just fine, just the team can't knock out Minnesota. 2015-2016, they finished with a record of 49, 24, and 9. In the first round, they knocked out Chicago in 7, so that's impressive, right? Chicago coming off of a cup win in 2015, and St. Louis knocks them out. Next round, they played Dallas. They knocked out Dallas in 6. Dallas, a team that didn't have the goaltending against St. Louis that year. San Jose then takes them out in 6 in 2016. So San Jose's on this board 3 times as a team that's taken them out. Vancouver actually has 3 appearances as well. It is interesting to see which teams they've either... Well, in San Jose's case, they've met them a lot. They met them 5 times. But in Vancouver's case, they just struggled against Vancouver. But yeah, so Tarasenko was their leading scorer again. 80 games, 40 goals, 34 assists, 74 points. In the playoffs, he plays 20 games, 9 goals, 6 assists, 15 points. And I was waiting for Vlad to get a 50-goal season. I don't think it ever happens now. 2016-2017, their record's 46, 29, and 7. In the first round, they beat Minnesota, so they avenged that. They win that in 5. Then they meet Nashville in the next round, and Nashville's on a run. Nashville knocks them out in 6. Tarasenko's the leading scorer again for the 3rd straight season. 82 games played, 39 goals, 36 assists, 75 points. In the playoffs, he has 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points over 11 games. 2017-2018, they barely missed the playoffs. This is that year where they just, last weekend, last game of the year, they missed the playoffs. 44, 32, and 6 is their record. Braden Schen's their leading scorer. 82 games, 28 goals, 42 assists for 70 points. The following year, this is how you bounce back from missing the playoffs. 45, 28, and 9 is their overall record, which is actually, points-wise, not that much better than the previous year where they missed the playoffs. But in the playoffs, they knew when to get hot. They beat Winnipeg in the first round in 6. They beat Dallas in the second round in 7. They beat San Jose in the 3rd round in 6. And then they won the Stanley Cup in 7 games over Boston. So none of the series were easy, but they won the last game in every series. So they win versus Boston in 7. O'Reilly's their leading scorer and their MVP in the playoffs. 82 games played during the regular season, 28 goals, 49 assists, 77 points. In the playoffs, 26 games played, 8 goals, 15 assists, 23 points. So it's a great story. St. Louis has finally won. Play Gloria. It's, this awesome storyline. 2019, 2020, it looked like they might have a chance to repeat. 42, 19, and 10 is their record during the regular season. Then we hit the pause. Coming out of the pause, they just never seemed to quite hit their stride. So they end up losing in the first round after the round robin to the Vancouver Canucks in 6. And it was a series where I think they outplayed Vancouver, but they got out goaltended. So Ryan O'Reilly's their leading scorer, 71 games played, 12 goals, 49 assists for 61 points. In the playoffs, now it's 9 games listed as playoffs, it's a 6-game series, but again, the round robin counted as playoff stats. 4 goals, 7 assists for 11 points in 9 games overall for Ryan O'Reilly. So this is where they've got to try to bounce back. Again, you don't necessarily want to be a one-and-done team, right? Win your Stanley Cup and go. Although for fans, still got to feel pretty good to win that Stanley Cup, right? Vancouver fans are curious as to how that would feel. 27, 20, and 9 is the record for St. Louis the season we just finished, 2020-2021. They lost in the first round against Colorado in 4 straight. David Perron was their leading scorer during the regular season, 56 games, 19 goals, 39 assists, 58 points. Then ends up on the COVID list, did not appear over the 4 playoff games that St. Louis had. What's interesting with St. Louis when you're looking at them is goaltending. So in 2000, their goaltender, and I'm only going through the years they made the playoffs. 2000, it's Roman Turek, who had a 3-4 record, 882 save percentage. Turek was really good during the regular season for the most part, and then in the playoffs, it just wasn't quite where you wanted it to be. 2001, Turek ends up 9-5 in the playoffs, 919 save percentage. Brent Johnson was 0-1, 944 save percentage that year. And again, coming out of that, the question was, all right, so Turek, pretty good, but is he good enough to win in the postseason? 2002, they've gone to Johnson as the starter, 5-5 record, 929 save percentage, not too shabby, but they bring in Chris Osgood. So 2003, it's Osgood that's playing. He's 3-4 in the playoffs in 2003 with a 907 save percentage. Osgood was very good in Detroit. His playoff record outside of Detroit, not as good. 2004, he ends up 1-4 in the playoffs that year, 890 save percentage. So Osgood, the 2 years in the playoffs for St. Louis, and it doesn't quite work out. 2009, the next time they make the playoffs, it's actually Chris Mason in net. He goes 0-4 with a 916 save percentage. They got swept, but a 916 is not too bad when your team gets swept. 2012, when they get back into the playoffs, Elliott is their goaltender of record for most of the games. He's 3-4 with a 904 save percentage. Halak was 1-1 in his appearances with a 935 save percentage. Elliott's the goalie of record in 2013, ends up 2-4 with a 919 save percentage. But again, St. Louis, we need that goaltender. So at the deadline in 2014, they pick up Ryan Miller. Miller in the playoffs, which is what they got him for, ends up 2-4 with an 897 save percentage. And so again, they're left with Miller leaves as a free agent, he ends up in Vancouver, and they're still looking for that guy, even though Jake Allen is seen as the future guy. And he gets his chance in 2015, 2-4 with a 904 save percentage. 2016, interestingly enough, Elliott's back in the mix now. He's 9-9 in the playoffs, 921 save percentage. Allen 1-1 with an 897 save percentage. Questions abound. 2017, it's back to Allen. Goes 6-5 in the playoffs with a 935 save percentage. They don't make the playoffs in 2018, and then we know what happens in 2019. Binnington, who had cleared waivers, who had been sitting and waiting, and they wouldn't start him, they didn't trust him, and then as soon as he plays games, his record is fantastic. His numbers are great, right? In the playoffs, he ends up 16-10, Stanley Cup, 914 save percentage. Allen doesn't get a game where he has a win or loss. 750 save percentage in his very brief appearance where he saved 3 out of 4 shots. So 2020, what's interesting is Allen ends up 2-2. And again, I had to put asterisks because this includes round robin games, which just fudges the whole thing. But Allen ends up 2-2, 935 save percentage, and Binnington 0-5 in the bubble, 851 save percentage. 2021, it's Binnington again, 0-4 is his record, 899 save percentage. There's been an issue with St. Louis when it comes to goaltending in the playoffs. Binnington appeared to have fixed that in 2019, but again, he's been 0-9 between the bubble playoffs and this year. And so I think there's some question about whether or not St. Louis is one of those teams that needs the tandem, and whether or not are they gonna get back? Is there going to be another cup in the future for this current iteration of the St. Louis Blues, or does it wait? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.